Hi, I'm Denise Gustavson, editor for Wide Format Imaging magazine. This morning I have with me Lori Anderson, who's the president of the ISA Association. Lori, welcome.
Thank you. Nice to be here.
Glad to have you here. So I guess we're on day 3 of the show. How are we doing? Let's get some statistics.
It's been a fantastic show. I have exhibitors tell me that they are so bullish. They were so bullish coming into the show, expecting one of the best shows in the history of their company. And we have reached their expectations.
That's fantastic.
Exhibitors are thrilled. Attendees are very pleased at the new technologies they're seeing.
And there's a lot on the show floor?
There's a lot on the show floor. We are staging our second largest show in ISA history.
Fantastic.
And exhibit
Wow.
space is up 14% and our attendees are up 12%. So I am very pleased about the results of this show.
Those are great numbers. So I guess the question, how's business, means it's doing pretty well, I'm guessing.
Business is doing very well.
Good.
Sign companies, it's been, for everyone, a tough few years.
Definitely.
And the last year has really improved greatly. In some cases, there's companies that are working multiple shifts and 7 days a week to keep up. Now, does this mean that everybody's this way? Absolutely not. There's still some pockets of the country that are struggling, and but there's others that are just going gangbusters. But all in all, it's a positive sign for the economy. For the most part, every single company I talk to says they anticipate growth in the next 1 to 2 years.
Which is really good to hear.
Absolutely.
It's so nice to hear some positive information.
Yes.
You know, after the last couple of years, it's very, very dark and hard to, we're always down. But to hear that positive, we're going to be growing. Which
Absolutely.
Is really
I mean, you can feel it on the show floor. It's a very positive energy.
Now, with some of that growth also comes some challenges. What do you think is probably the biggest challenge that the industry is facing? Is it still economic, or is it something else?
Well, there's always going to be an economic component of it, but I'd say the largest challenge for the sign industry is dealing with the multiple codes and regulations in the local communities. There's some 50,000 municipalities, and they are each of them unique in how they approach sign codes. And unfortunately, many are becoming much more restrictive. There's a lack of understanding on their part on the importance of a sign code in helping their local businesses grow and hence their economy grow. So ISA, one of ISA's biggest programs is an advocacy to help the local jurisdictions understand the importance of a good sign code. And we travel all over the country. We help sign companies constantly deal with these issues, and anything from lighting to EMCs to variances to constitutional issues where zoning boards may not be understanding the importance of the constitutional right of a sign. So that is an incredible challenge for companies, small sign companies in particular, to have one side of the street have one sign code to deal with, and right next door is another sign code to deal with. A whole set of different rules, but ISA is here to help with that. We have incredible tools and programs to help the sign companies deal with these terrible situations.
And I know recently you've increased some of your education on those codes as well, if I remember.
Absolutely, and our education programs have grown considerably. One bright shining spot at this show is we've had almost 70 seminars, and we've far broken all the records in terms of registration. So I'm pleased that sign companies are understanding the importance of education and having their employees learn more constantly and continuously.
And they realize that the value of actually taking the time to train their employees with those different issues.
It's challenging now that some companies are experiencing a boom. So the last 2 years has been pretty tough. And so it'd be easy to say, well, I'm going to wait to train until I feel a little more comfortable about my business. And now the spigot has turned the other direction, and they're so busy they don't have time to train. But it's important. Sign companies that are really looking to the future take the time, no matter whether the economy is in a downturn or on the upswing, to train their employees, because it's the future of their company.
Yes, it definitely is. Now, talking about the future, we have a lot of technology on the show floor. Do you see any specific technologies or innovations that are going to help drive this industry forward any?
Well, the beautiful thing about the sign company is there's innovation all the time. And what I've been finding is there's small engineering tweaks, if I may say, that may not be big in appearance when you go down the show floor aisle, but when taken back to your sign shop, it can dramatically change your life. Your efficiency and productivity can improve exponentially. And throughout this show, you will see slight changes in engineering. But the other thing that's a little bit more new wave is use of combining social media technology,
Yes.
mobile technologies, and how you can integrate that with the traditional sign industry. I think
There's a much bigger call for that now with augmented reality and all the social and the interactive programs as well.
Absolutely. And you have digital dynamic signage that has software that can recognize gender, and it can change with whoever is walking by, and all of that requires a degree of a huge learning curve, a degree of sophistication, and that has not thus far been seen in many parts of the industry. It'll be a challenge, but an exciting one, because if sign companies embrace the mobile technologies, incorporate those mobile technologies into their business portfolio, the sky's the limit.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how much IT staffs is being a really key component in making those, in purchasing decisions now, and also in bringing on those newer technologies. Because that's essential to make sure that those are going to work flawlessly.
Right, so you have the IT, you have the AV component, combined with the traditional signage. It could be a very exciting future for those companies that embrace that and learn about that. And we have some educational programs. We don't even pretend to understand that part of the industry. It's a difficult one, complex, but we do have educational programs begun. We had several on Wednesday, and we plan several more webinars, so I'm hoping that'll gain some interest with our companies, and so they learn that part of the industry.
That'd be great. Now, on the topic of sustainability, we've seen a lot of that written in the media. We even see it in consumer media, how much green has been talked about. But with a lot of companies in the sign industry, it's been a tough challenge for them to move forward with it. Why do you think that?
Well, I think that their customers aren't demanding it.
Okay.
In reality, when your customers request something from you, you have to adapt, or they're going to go to another provider. We're finding that there's a lot of hype in the media, but it doesn't quite match what actually is happening in the day-to-day business. And there's so much confusion about the definition of green. And
Definitely.
There isn't a definition of green. There isn't a definition of sustainability that's one size fits all. And some people are claiming things that are green.
That are not.
So here you may get a request from a customer, an end user, for a green product, but what does that mean? And maybe the customer may not even know either. So
are they looking at the material? Are they looking at the process? Are they looking
life
at the
cycle?
facility?
Exactly.
You know, what are they actually
even
looking
the
for?
understanding of recycled or recyclability, it differs.
Yeah,
So,
depending upon what's being printed
exactly.
and what needs to be done before it can even go into the recycle and waste stream.
Yes, that's very true. The sign industry is inherently rather a green industry. I mean, the materials used in signs can be recycled, can be made from recycled products, but the definition and understanding of how that fits in is very unclear in the marketplace, and customers, the end users, are not demanding it. And when that starts to happen, we will likely see a larger shift.
Okay, great. Now, looking forward, 12 to 18 months, what do you think are the really good growth areas for this industry as a whole?
Well, the retail sector is starting to pick up, so that's very important. I'm hoping hotel and lodging now is starting to pick up. I think the banking world, you see so many changes and mergers and acquisitions. I think that's a big growth opportunity. So if you're looking at sectors, I'm very hopeful and bullish on the retail sector. That was particularly hit hard in the last few years. So you see that sector coming forward. There's great opportunities in interior architectural signage to take advantage of these new mobile technologies that I mentioned earlier. So when you combine all of that, there's a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities, and it's going to be an exciting industry in the coming years.
It's going to be very exciting.
So the next ISA show is next year in March, back in Orlando.
Yes.
So that's great. So I'm going to see you then, that's for sure. But
I absolutely will.
And thank you again for joining me
Thank
today.
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.